Hey guys, welcome to this video. Today I'm going to be sharing the most important things that I've learned in 2020 and the things that I want to implement in 2021 to improve my investing. Hopefully this video can be helpful for all kinds of investors. And these are some practical things that I think you can implement to improve your own investing. These are things that I still kind of struggle with, but I'm hoping that in 2021 I can implement these things and become a better investor. This is going to be more practical advice. It's not going to be hot stock tips like go buy GameStop. Let's get straight into it. So number one is to stop worrying about what's going to happen in the short term and trying to predict what's going to happen with the stock market. It is impossible. You will be wasting your time, and all it does is just cause you stress. I spent so much time in March, June, and July just wondering what was going to happen. Should I sell some of my stocks? Is the market going to drop? Should I sell now? Should I wait? All these kinds of things. Spending all your time trying to predict what to do in the short term is a guaranteed way to die early of a heart attack. You do not want to be doing this. If you were investing for the long term being 5, 10, 20, 30 years, if you're young and you're investing for the long term, you do not need to worry about any of this stuff. You don't need to worry about what happens in 1 month from now, 6 months from now, even a year from now. All these small things that happen in the market do not matter. And over the long term, the stock market will go up as the general economy will continuously improve. And if you're an absolute beginner and you have no idea where to start, just start by trying to learn things about investing, learn what an ETF is, learn how you can actually buy stocks, open up a brokerage account, do these kind of things, and just build your own skill set. And number two, this is probably one of the most important things on the list, but probably one of the most boring, and it's to set an investing schedule. It's so easy to get distracted by life, whether it's a job, university, your friends, your family, going out. All these different things can take up your time, and it can be hard to prioritize taking time for investing and thinking about your financial future. If you've never done this, setting an investing schedule can be a great way to actually start doing that. Pick a day of the week. Weekends probably work the best for most people, and block out time to focus solely on investing. Throughout the past year, I struggled so much trying to stay consistent, and there were months where I just actually didn't do anything related to investing. So I've decided to set my own investing schedule, and for me, this is going to be every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. That's going to be my sole focus. I'm blocking out that time to focus solely on investing. Whatever you need to do, make sure you schedule time for it, or else it just won't happen at all. Trust me. Taking time out of your day to focus on investing or your financial future might not seem important now, but 20, 30 years from now, you will be thanking yourself for doing that. Number three is an interesting one. This is to have a passive and a small, active, sort of riskier portfolio. So if you're young like me, it can get kind of boring just focusing on long-term investing. It's not exciting. It's really predictable. The reason why I have a long-term portfolio is because it's going to be the highest probability of succeeding in achieving my long-term financial goals.
I gotta do it, man.
But in the meantime, right now, it can be hard seeing, my friends or just people on Wall Street bets making so much money, speculating and taking risky bets with stocks like GameStop or AMC. It can kind of seem at sometimes like you're sort of missing out on all the fun. What I have heard some financial advisors say is to deal with this sort of psychological or behavioral problem, it can be a good idea to set aside a small amount of your portfolio just to play with and have more fun and take more risky sort of bets. You want this portion of your portfolio to be so small that it won't affect your long-term financial plans. I plan on actually implementing this coming year with 1 to 5% of my portfolio, just to learn a bit more about options and also just to have a bit more fun and just take a bit more risk. So number four is cash versus investing. Do I stay in cash or do I invest now? The reason why people stay in cash is because they don't want the market to drop and then they've already lost a little bit of money. But I found a really interesting way of thinking about this, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So think about it this way. If you invest, 3 things can happen. The market can go up, which is great, you're making money. The market can go sideways, which doesn't really affect you. You can keep receiving that dividend income from the companies that pay dividend if you're holding a global ETF, for example. Or the market can go down.
No, God! No, God, please!
And yeah, that's not too great, but it doesn't last forever, and that's the important thing. It's a temporary thing when the market goes down. And this doesn't affect a long-term investor. If the market goes down for 2, 3 years, 4 years, but you're investing for 20 years, it doesn't really matter at all. Obviously, it can be hard in the short term to stick with this, but if you have a long-term plan and you're aware of this, you're much less likely to sell out when the market goes down. So now what happens if you don't invest and you just keep that money in cash? Well, 1, the market could go up and you get to look at all the money you didn't make because you're afraid to invest.
No, God! God!
Number 2, the market could go sideways and you're losing out on all that dividend income. And number 3, the market goes down. And if the market does go down, the people who are holding cash are going to be even more fearful and less likely to actually invest their money. The key is that if the market goes up and you're holding cash, you lose permanently the opportunity to earn those returns. Yes, it may go down in the future, but to what level? It may never reach the previous low that it was at before, and therefore you've lost out on those gains forever. Staying in cash means permanently losing on the upside, so losing out on those returns, and investing means that you may temporarily experience a downside, but you will always get the upside. So the main takeaway is let go of the fear of staying in cash and start investing. A lot of this realization of cash versus investing and this way of thinking about it actually came from this book, The Path by Tony Robbins and Peter Mallouk. It's a really great book for people who want to learn more about investing and also financial independence. And another super important thing to just learn more about is asset allocation. This is number 5 of the most important things to focus on for 2021. Once you've listened to number 4 of actually investing instead of staying in cash, you actually need to now decide, where do I invest this money? So asset allocation is essentially deciding, where are you going to invest in? Are you going to invest in stocks? Which stocks? Are you going to invest in emerging markets? The US? Are you going to invest in bonds? Are you going to invest in gold? These kind of things. This has to do with asset allocation. You also need to consider, how much of these things should I own? Should I own 50% US stocks, 50% international, 70% international, 30% US? These are all things you have to consider. And the great thing is, there's no right answer. You just have to decide what's right for you. And that's great, but what if I don't know anything about this stuff? Well, honestly, you just have to learn. You have to take out the time, you have to set an investing schedule and start learning a bit more about these different things. There are lots of ETF portfolios that you can just replicate. Just Google lazy ETF portfolios, and there's a bunch of different ETFs that you can buy and build a portfolio like that. The asset allocation that I personally want is something that I'm still deciding on, and it's something that I'm going to work on in 2021, and hopefully when I'm done with that, I will make a video for you guys. Warren Buffett has said that if he were to die, he would put his money into a portfolio that is 90% stocks, so 90% of the US S&P 500, and 10% short-term US government bonds. This is just an example to give you of what one of the best investors in the world would do and what he recommends for average everyday people. The point of this discussion on asset allocation is to get you guys thinking about, what asset allocation do I want in my own portfolio, and just taking the time out to determine this and build your portfolio based upon that. And that's it. That's all the advice I have for you guys. That's everything that I want to implement in 2021 based on, the most important things that I've learned in 2020. I'm going to be implementing these things hopefully alongside some of you guys if you decide to take on some of this practical advice. And here's to a great 2021 for all of us. Wishing you guys all the best. Thank you so much. And if you have enjoyed this video, please do hit that subscribe button and also smash the like button down below. Thank you, and I'll see you guys next time.